Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. I'm your host, Chris Salem. Welcome to the TALRadio platform. We hope that you're receiving a lot of value here at Touch a Life Foundation with our platform here covering a wide variety of different content. And now you found here Business Influencers. We just celebrated not too long ago our 200th episode here on the TALRadio platform because of you, the listeners. And again, if you are new, we are excited to have you here, not only on the TALRadio platform, but also where you can also enjoy the show on Spotify, Apple, and also our video portion of the show on YouTube. Go ahead and make sure that you follow on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. That way, each and every week, you get to hear the subject matter experts that we have on sharing their words of wisdom and insights to help elevate your level of influence, whether personally or at the business level, to take your business to that next step in terms of your success. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, this is a membership program taking out all the noise out of social media. You get to generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to interact with. So if you'd like more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That is alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to use publicity to get more leads for profit in sales. And we are here with somebody personally that I know very well, Jill Lublin. Jill and I have known each other for quite some time, going back to our CEO Space days. And she is just and worked with so many different high-level performers and professionals throughout her career from a publicity standpoint. To give you a little background, she has shared the stages with many high-level performers like Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Laura Lagmeyer, James Malachek, and Lisa Nichols. The list goes on and on and on. And she has appeared on most, if not all, the major primetime media outlets. She is an expert in public relations and continues each and every day to be helping not only businesses, but also solopreneurs to really master the publicity, the art of publicity, and how that can raise your level of influence to the next level. And without further ado, we welcome Jill Lublin to the show. Jill, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Christopher. I am doing great. It's so nice to be here with you again.
Yes, it's such a pleasure to have you here. So Jill, we always like to start the show kind of like with each of our guests with a kind of the background, like, what got Jill into publicity and what you've done so far, what you did over your career there, and how it is translated to what you're doing today, and really get, with that give mentality, how you're helping professionals, solopreneurs, and businesses elevate their level of influence through the power of influence.
Well, thank you. I actually started my career in the music business. And I was the director of promotion and publicity at 4 independent record labels, did some music management, and actually all of that translated into what I call my guerrilla publicity, the book, the trainings that I do now with media mastery intensives. Why? Because music is all about perception, right? And so in the knowing of that, it was easy to translate it to who I work with really now, which is entrepreneurs and small business owners, and making publicity really accessible. I mean, listen, I owned a PR agency on top of everything, and that was wonderful. It's, the fees are high for most small business people, and my heart lies in small business people. So I shifted the business model, and now I'm able to serve all kinds of small business owners much quickly, much easily, and more effectively, frankly. Running these media mastery intensives and just different ways that I help people. So that's where I started, and now where I am. Lots of twists and turns along the way, like everybody. And now I have 4 books, which helps, including Guerrilla Publicity and The Profit of Kindness. And to that end, I run media mastery intensives and kindness circles, and that's how I'm serving people now.
Wonderful. Thank you for giving us the background of your journey in this area and been a kind of, really paved the foundation or the path today that what you're going to talk about, how to use publicity to get more leads, to profit and increase your profit and sales in your business. What would you say, like right now, you have a solopreneur, you have a small business owner, they're listening right now, and right now they're interested, they would like to grow their business. They want to increase sales, they want to grow their revenue, more importantly, their net profit. But they really don't understand the PR game. They don't understand how is publicity going to help my business? What would be that first step that they initiate to start that process?
Well, and I believe in baby steps. I think the important piece is you get in action about creating more, I call them visibility building activities. So one of the things to do, first thing to do is get clear on a message that would serve media that they say yes to you. That's a biggie. You want them to say yes to you. And, with that, what that looks like is the opportunity of how do you serve their readers, their listeners, their viewers. When I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I was privileged to talk to media. And, it was interesting because they didn't agree about everything, but they did agree about one thing, and that is what's in it for our readers, our viewers, our listeners. And you have to talk to that when you're speaking to media. It's not about your business. It's about your expertise and helping the others who are engaged with that media. And that's the first place to start. I think it's a really important place to start because it also gives you clarity about what your message is and then why should people care. That's important.
Absolutely. I love that. And we hope listeners that, again, take note of this, and you're going to be able to find out a little later here in the show how you can get in contact with Jill and take advantage of these different things that could help you in this area. So, Jill, what would be like when it comes to publicity? I think a lot of times people, might think that this can be an overly complex thing to do. Like, there's so many things that I got to do, but I don't know what to do. It's going to be too expensive. All of these things going through your mind. And you said something really important about taking baby steps. They don't have to do everything all at once in that case. So in this case, like when it comes to like a strategy, is the strategy like really the most important thing, the kind of like where they are, where they want to be, and then maybe within what they're trying to accomplish, at least with even the first step, that's where you focus on before you go on to the next step that you talk about.
So it is about step by step, right? And you start wherever you are because frankly, a terrible thing happens without publicity. Nothing. And so if you do nothing, nothing occurs. So let's start with baby steps. And, in my world, it is not overwhelming. I've really synthesized and simplified. And, one great baby step after the message is now let's get clear. Who is your audience and what are they reading? What are they watching? What are they listening to? I think that's really a great thing. I think people should get immediately on some podcasts because number one, it's probably the easiest to get on quickly. And so I'm a big believer in that. And I'm also a big believer in local media. Why? Because your local ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, all the rest of them, and all international media too, guess what? They're pulling from your local markets. The big shows are pulling from your local markets. And being featured everywhere and anywhere is very meaningful. It definitely puts you ahead of and in front of your competition. And it's earned media, which means you have trust in the marketplace. Why? Because you've been interviewed. So I just want you to get that first interview. And the ways I just mentioned are some of the simpler ways to get started.
Well, yeah, I love what you made a great point about trust, right? And when it comes to, I've been a sales professional my whole life, both from, managing sales to being a sales professional myself now. And when you said trust, that resonated so well because when people are ready to buy, they're always going to buy based upon that the challenge that they have, whatever that may be, is great enough to make it better. And the results they seek and don't have becomes great enough. That's what they want. But that rapport has to be built enough to gain some level of trust for them to say yes to you. I guess in what you just said, publicity. Hey, if that publicity now positions you of an authority of trust, well, guess what? When somebody's ready to take action on something that in an area that you provide a service or a product or a combination of both, probably more likely they're going to reach out to you and work with you. Would that be safe to say?
I think it's very safe to say that the reality about media is it puts you to the front of the line. It just does. I have a woman, she built her whole coaching business on publicity. One actually piece, she got an IBC radio following my system. I'm big on systems. Publicity has a system also. And she built her whole business on that. Another gentleman who's an instructional designer, I didn't even know what he did, Chris. I didn't fully understand it. But when he told me, I redesigned his approach to include his story, his personal story, which frankly was far more interesting and actually got him a tremendous amount of media. And one interview in the Chinese Times, because he's Asian American, got him a $7,000 consulting client. I mean, that's the power of publicity. And I'm going to tell you, he wasn't thinking I'm going to use and utilize my ethnicity, but I'm really big. I call it use everything you've got, because getting into media, you get in whatever way you can. And the great news is once you're in, you control the message. And you can go all kinds of good ways, but most importantly, even at the end of the show, just like we'll do here, you're going to tell people how to get in touch with you. You're going to be seen and heard, and that recognition factor is what creates I've heard of you somewhere syndrome, and again, the escalation of your expertise and really the elevation of your expertise.
Yeah, and I love what you said about recognition. And we have some people that listen to business influencers where they may be a professional speaker, as well as a coach consultant, or some are not professional speakers, but they use speaking as a way to create impact and connect easier or as a whole with their audience in one setting. What you just said, that publicity, when you get recognition, you're probably more likely now going to have a better opportunity to secure more speaking opportunities because of that recognition over another speaker that maybe doesn't have that recognition. And now you're competing with maybe so many people for that speaker slot, but because of your recognition through the PR, that's giving you the edge over the other people. I would hate to say that.
Absolutely, big time. I mean, not only as a speaker, certainly, because the truth is people who are booking you, they are looking, have you been interviewed? And when you can, create a list, and even just starting wherever you can, wherever, whatever place you're on the ladder, as I like to say, you just start where you start. The point is, if you don't start, nothing occurs. And yes, people who are booking you are looking at you. Producers are looking at other perhaps interviews. Are you articulate? Are you well spoken? Yes, of course you are as a speaker, but guess what? The extra edge lies in the media who put you toward that positionality of you are an expert. It seals it, it confirms it.
Love it. And again, listeners, take notes here. We encourage you to go back and listen to this show again, because Jill is giving you some really valuable insights. In case if you missed something, you could hear it again. And again, this is just the start. It starts with awareness. As you gather this due diligence, now you research it some more, and then you can have an opportunity to even reach out to Jill later here as that next step. If you feel again, this is the time, and it should be the time that you could take that next step to raise your publicity level. That'll increase your influence to now convert more sales. And of course, more sales, if done properly, leads to more profit. So I love that. Joe, what would be some other things that you could share through whether it's in any of your books that are behind you, or anything new that you're planning to get out there like that would really enlighten the listeners in terms of publicity? Anything else that you haven't shared so far?
Yeah, well, a couple things. One is to understand that you want to create that kind of wave of I've heard of you somewhere. So if you spend, listen, 30 minutes a week, that's not a lot. I know all of you can do it. Forget the extra stop at Starbucks or whatever it is, and or at Starbucks, focus in. What's one thing you can do? One great thing you can do that's simple and free that we talk about in guerrilla publicity is Google Alerts. Make sure that your name is in Google Alerts, as well as like put in one word or phrase. So for instance, when The Profit of Kindness came out, that's my latest book, we put in the word kindness. Now I know that November 13th is World Kindness Day. Well, I've been featured in so many media, including, 7 interviews in Fox News, literally in the first 30 days of the book coming out, because we were focused on a message about kindness that was actually called the Divided States of America. That was an interesting contrary position that got us in. It wasn't, oh, Jill's got a book. I mean, listen, a lot of my clients don't have books. They have products and services. They're coaches, consultants, small business owners. The reality is whatever you offer, you're the expert, and Google Alerts alert you to the fact that the media is talking about that. And that's a good thing, which shows you where to go and gives you a kind of a map. I think that's really a great thing to do quickly. And then I want to say on the kindness front, one of the things I'm always promoting is practice a conscious act of kindness every single day. And as a business owner, interestingly enough, that becomes your competitive edge. Think about that.
Great insights there. Oh, love it. And Jill, I guess, based upon the individual or the business, there can be different industries, there can be people in different types of businesses serving different types of clients. It's not like every platform can apply to every person in that situation. It depends on where their audience is. Can you share about the strategy and also the importance of knowing your audience and knowing the platforms where to leverage that?
Yeah, listen, most people I work with are, like I said, small business owners of some kind, whether they're coaches, whether they're consultants, whether they're offering services and products. Guess what? It's all about business. So one of the things I always suggest is, the local business journal where you live needs content. And one of the things you can do is work what you do into something content driven, and that becomes the pitch. So I always believe in your local business journals, for instance, showing up there. Again, in your local area, they need experts, they need to fill space, and you're the local expert, so why not you? And that also includes your morning shows. Same thing on television, on radio, need guest experts, lots of them, right? I remember when I was on Fox News in Arizona, and there probably was, I don't know, 20 people in the room because the segments were 4 minutes, and it was a little bit of a, okay, next, right, next, because they need, well, experts ongoingly to, to promote and come up with great stories. So I'm big on local. And I think it's a great and easier place often to start that and get on the podcasts. You can go on like a podmatch.com and look to see who is doing podcasts and where would be your right fit. And obviously focusing on right fit first. But, good news is many of your stories can be woven to fit certain audiences.
Wonderful, wonderful insights. Thank you for sharing that. And just, as we get near the end of the show, I wanted to ask this, one question before we let people know where to find you and all that. How important is the consistency in what you just shared, in not just doing it like, well, I'll do it for 1 month and then 5 months later I'll do it again. No, the consistency of keeping yourself out there across these areas where your audience is.
Well, I do have a thing I like to say is to be consistent and persistent with your media. Kind of like well, a terrier, not a bulldog. Like you want to sort of nip at the heels. You want to be present. You don't want to send something out every day. And, by the way, not even sometimes every month, but maybe 4 times a year with a specific story. If there is a hot breaking story and you're the right fit, like I had a divorce coach, and specifically when Johnny Depp was going through some serious marriage problems, I had her on multiple, literally, she was like being interviewed hour after hour as a divorce coach. And that was her expertise. That was the pitch. And it was celebrity oriented. So be listening for stories that are relevant for where you can fit in. I have a psychologist right now. She's talking about stress out in the, in the world right now, how to deal with it and what to do and some good tactics for that. Like take what you do and create it so that whatever's going on in the world, you might have a say in it. Be listening for that.
Wow, excellent. I love this. I know you have so much more to share, and we have to have you on another show to expand on all these areas. You just give always such great wisdom. I want to personally thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us here at Business Influencers, not only from myself and the team, but also the rest of the strategic folks here at the Touch of Life Foundation, which oversees TALRadio. Again, we want to thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. And if I may, can I tell people how to get?
We want you to now let the audience know, how do they get in contact with Jill? What are you up to? And anything that you'd like to offer or share with the audience.
Absolutely. And so delight to be here with you and all of you listening. And I hope I've given great value. And what I did was actually created a wonderful guide. It is a publicity action guide, completely free and filled with more great tips about what you can do simply and easily. But here's the other great thing about it. There is an opportunity to be live with me, interactive on Zoom. I'll answer your questions. I'll give you more great information. So check jilllublin.com/guide and make sure to come into the second part, which is the live interactive class with me. All free.
And we will make sure all of that information is also here in the show notes here that you can also get here on TALRadio, as well as any of the other syndicate channels that you can listen and watch this episode. We want to thank everybody again for tuning in here at Business Influencers. And again, we are committed each and every week in bringing in subject matter experts like Jill in to share their words of wisdom and insights to help elevate you and your business in terms of your level of influence to the next level. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week at the same time.